an oldie, but a goodie.
Is it?
Actually, that's the first time we've ever used that music for anything. And I think that it appropriately fits.
Yes.
Nice.
Definitely.
What's up, kids? We're here.
How you doing?
Maybe in live action.
Yeah, hopefully if you're watching this, you can see our faces.
Hopefully, if you're watching this, you are watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if not, we'll get it figured out the next time around. So it's been crazy trying to, like you'd think recording video and audio would be the easiest thing since everybody and their mother's doing it on Twitch.
Yeah.
But yet here we are just bumblefucking all the way.
No, yeah. It's actually quite difficult for no reason.
But it really is so difficult. And it's like everybody always talks about like everyone wants to be an influencer, but like we actually make content and we tried to go out to get supplies we needed. It was not available to us.
No.
Is my mic super down?
What do you mean?
Can you hear me? Am I loud?
I can definitely hear you.
Okay, good.
What a weird thing to put in. Anyway, her self-doubts displayed on the first video. Guys, what are we talking about today?
We want to welcome them to a cinema podcast.
Hey!
We're going to be reviewing movies. Usually we'll be doing 2 every other week. So when you're used to every other week TV, that off week will be movies.
Yeah, so it'll be once a week uploads once we get it all, settled in.
Yep.
So you'll have movies half the time, TV the other half, and we'll be trying to do video for all of them to the best of our ability. So,
And this month is movie month. We're doing exclusively movies. So if you guys are down for that, we're going to be talking about Batman today.
yeah, so March, basically, since we're adjusting into talking about movies all the time, since Franny and I have definitely never done that before.
Since it's the Oscar month.
Yeah, and it's the Oscar month. This month is just movies. So March is going to be the Batman review as well as our Oscar talk, which you guys can look forward to. And Cody, this is your first time reviewing films ever.
Literally.
How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel a little upset in my stomach, and I don't think it's because we're about to try the Little Caesars
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
calzone.
Guys, it looks like a dead raccoon.
It looks awful. Should I hold it up for the camera?
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really disgusting.
This monstrosity, guys.
It looks like...
The box is cool.
The box is
like the
cool.
box.
If it wasn't covered in this pizza, I'd keep the
Yeah,
box.
yeah. The grease on the bottom is really something
I mean,
too.
literally,
It's literally like so greasy.
it's like my forehead. Okay. So that is the Batman pizza. It looks like they stunk like a crimping iron from the 90s.
Yeah, he did just kind of like slap it in there.
It looks like it was a child who took like a ravioli roller, like those little wheels, and tried to make a pizza out of it. And it looks terrible.
Do we want to dig in?
Oh my god, yeah. Hand me a slice.
Oh, God.
Oh God. We didn't think this through. Do you
Or
wanna
we
give me
could just
your
pass the
napkin?
pizza.
Wait, is this
Yeah.
pizza uncut?
No, it's cut. Here, just pass
I've never
the
been
pizza.
with someone uncut before. Okay, you got it?
You got it, buddy?
Careful over the equipment.
Should I take the calzone piece?
If you want to.
Dude, that's all you. I want to bite, though, even though it looks disgusting.
Oh god.
Actually, yeah. That's a good.
Okay,
Holy
you can get. There's multiple calzone pieces.
There is?
Yeah. I'm taking
Okay.
this one.
This is gonna be terrible.
Got it.
Oh gosh.
I'm just gonna put it right on my lap.
Guys, this is so gross already.
We haven't eaten in like 8 hours.
We just saw a
at
3-hour movie, so
was
things
so
have been...
Do I go for a calzone piece or what?
I got a calzone piece.
Whatever you feel is necessary.
Oh
this
my
is
God.
the calzone
Oh,
piece.
there's 2 calzone.
People are like, are they going to talk about the Batman or...
No.
There's 4 calzone pieces actually.
Oh damn. Okay. It's so cold.
it's ice cold.
You don't fuck with cold pizza?
I've never had cold pizza.
Wow.
What the fuck? He just tried broccoli for the first time the other day. It was the best thing
He's
ever.
also having his first iced coffee right now.
Oh.
Hey.
I
Your stomach is really in for something later.
Speaking of Lactaid,
Sponsor him.
If you
right.
want to sponsor me,
Are we going for this? Are we all going to take a bite?
I'm not going to take a bite of this on
I'm
camera.
taking a bite.
This looks disgusting. And I don't want to vom on camera.
how is it? Uh-huh.
I wish I had a salad.
Noises. It's just chewing noises.
I muted me. I meant to mute her.
It's fine. My standards are also really low.
Mute me.
I know it's Little Caesars.
Okay, I'm muting Cody. Hold on. Yeah, he's muted now. And he's going to take a big, delicious bite. That was the cheese exploding in his mouth. He does not like it. Don't spit it up like the broccoli. We don't want another moment like that.
It tastes like cold. It's pizza but cold.
Yeah.
That's what this is. Wow. Okay, that was underwhelming. But
Yeah.
you know what?
You know what? It wasn't
We tried.
underwhelming, possibly. At least not for me, but maybe for other people.
Batman.
The Batman.
Oh,
Guys,
Batman.
this has been so long anticipated for me. When this Batman was announced, first of all, I didn't mind Batfleck from the Justice League movies and stuff. I think that like the movies were bad, but Ben Affleck totally was fine as the character. But when they announced that it was my boy Arpats who was going to be in this movie, I freaked the fuck out because he has been amazing all over the indie genre. So I was super hyped for it. Anyway, tell them about the movie.
The Batman is a 2022 American superhero film based on the DC Comics character Batman, produced by DC Films, Sixth and Idaho, and Dylan Clark Productions, and distributed by Warner Brothers. It's a reboot of the Batman film franchise. The film was directed by Matt Reeves, who wrote the screenplay with Peter Craig. It stars Arpats, Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, Jeffrey Wright, Peter Sarsgaard, not Skarsgård, and Colin Farrell. The film sees Batman, who has been fighting crime in Gotham City for 2 years, uncover corruption while pursuing the Riddler.
Okay. So right away with this Batman movie, this is, in my opinion, based on like the comics that I've read, Hush, Long Halloween, stuff like that. This feels the most Batman to me in a movie. That doesn't mean that it's the best Batman movie ever. I'm just saying this feels the most like the actual character.
Okay.
Especially in the year 2 realm. This is very reminiscent of how like reading these comics makes me feel, like watching it. And on top of that, it's covered in like David Fincherisms. It feels like Seven or like Zodiac, the way this movie's shot. I mean, it is a thriller noir mystery. And it's, in my opinion, incredible.
It's definitely like more emo than most Batmans you see.
This is definitely a moody or Batman, like a little bit more sad boy, like e-boy Batman a little bit.
For sure.
Which I like.
Like long sleeves in summer Batman.
Like Franny right now, 2 shirts.
Yep.
Got it. I will say you pointed this out. There were people at the end who were like, that was really boring.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to put a disclaimer out there. If you're just like a superhero fan and you're going out like you've seen all the Avengers movies or whatever, this is not like a superhero movie in the traditional sense. It's much more noir. It's much more low key, but it's still like so beautiful. And it was mind blowing for me.
And Arpats kills it too. He looks so good as Batman.
The first thing that comes to mind is the cast. Okay, so you have Zoe Kravitz, who you just want to see them fuck, right? But we don't have to talk about that. But that is definitely an element. But seriously, on point of the performances, I mean, you have old boy Colin Farrell playing the Penguin in amazing prosthetics and incredibly believable. He came off like a relative that you really have, like a real person, very genuine.
Yeah.
And the way he was over the top, it was a real person that exists.
Yeah.
And I thought that he played it amazingly. Andy Serkis as Alfred, a weird choice that I was very much against in the beginning.
Agreed.
Because Andy Serkis is in so many things, and like
in my head, he's a villain.
Yeah, and he's so much a villain, and also he does so much of the CG acting stuff.
What's he in?
He's in like everything.
Really?
He's in like Black Panther.
He was in Black Panther, yeah. But if we're going more of his more famous roles, there was Planet of the Apes. He played what was the name of the monkey? It's like a specific name. It's the name of somebody famous. It doesn't matter.
John.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. No.
Yeah.
But
Johnny Appleseed.
He's mainly popular because he's the best motion capture actor
Yeah.
there is, like, alive. Like, he is the best. But when they said they were going to cast him as Alfred, for one, I really like Jeremy Irons from the DC universe, and at the time when this casting was announced, nobody knew what that meant. But clearly DC is going to do a multiverse, and they're going to make multiple movies and, like, not, cross over some and don't cross over others. Like, clearly that's what they're going to do. But I definitely was, like, soured Andy Serkis, and then I saw him, and he was fucking awesome. And he didn't even have a lot to do. This movie does not give Alfred a lot to do because the story is so compact, but the little things he does, you're like, fuck. You're going to make me cry, Alfred. Fuck. You're just a rough and tough, like, bare knuckle brawler who's trying to raise this rich kid by himself. I love it. I love it.
I always think of Alfred as like this like prim and proper older gentleman, and it was really cool to see more of this, like, not necessarily blue collar, but like more of like a everyday guy kind of take on it. And it was really heartwarming to see him kind of, especially in the spoiler, in the scene where he's in the hospital and you're just watching that genuine connection between the characters.
The thing that Matt Reeves did that was so great was he invested early in the story that this Batman's not going to be the traditional kind of Batman by, like, for instance, there's no scene where this Batman is like the playboy billionaire. He is a recluse the entire time, and he doesn't feel the need to answer for it.
He literally like squints at the sun. Like he's like an indoor boy. He's a real bat.
And I think what it is because they established this in year 2, you're not as obsessed with aligning, okay, how do we explain him not being the first thought of Batman to people?
Yeah.
And the answer is simple in this movie. They're not going to obsess over it. They're like, he just isn't in the public eye at all. Nobody even thinks about him existing. He's just a rich weirdo that nobody talks to. Nobody would think that he would be Batman. Or in this movie, Vengeance, because the first 2 years he didn't go by Batman. He went by the name Vengeance. Which was fucking cool as shit. Yeah. And has a great turning point at the end of the movie, and it really pays off, and you're not just like, okay, I'm getting annoyed by Catwoman calling him Vengeance. You're like, no, it's kind of sexy.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point is about the Alfred thing. They established that this Batman was going to live by its own rules. So right away, I'm thinking, is this going to be one of those movies where you have an established character? They gave you an established universe, and then they rip away a character in the first movie.
Yeah.
I honestly thought for a moment that Alfred could have died.
Yeah.
For real. Especially the way they shot it, with the conception of it being an hour later than he thought when he called, like time already having passed and him not having heard anything. They really established it like it could have gone either way. And that I never get out of Batman movies anymore. Like, I never am in fear of anybody's life.
Yeah.
Whether it be the Justice League or what, like there's never a fear that one of these characters is going to die. And when Alfred, it looked like he was going to die, you're like, okay, I keep remembering now that, like, this isn't just a superhero movie. This is 100% a noir thriller. And it's going to live by those rules, not by the strands of, like, we're not going to kill off somebody's favorite character. I feel like if Matt Reeves wanted to, he would have killed Batman at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
Because they were dead honest. Actually, there was a point where you thought Batman was killing himself, Franny.
I did, yeah.
Because he is sad. He's so fucking sad in this movie. But that is kind of Batman, especially year 2.
Honestly, it makes sense for him to be like a little emo boy, and he literally has like black eye makeup for his mask.
Which, okay, the reason why that is so important to me is because every movie since 1989, every Batman has had to wear black eye makeup for the costume. And whenever they take the mask off, the makeup magically disappears. There's one where it was Michael Keaton. It showed him with the black eye makeup. It cut away, cut back to him. There is no eye makeup. And then they ripped the mask off to, like, not have like a weird edit.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious. They were finally like, we don't care if Batman looks a little androgynous. Who cares? He's a moody, like, being. He's a creature of the night. He's a nocturnal animal at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
He looks like a fucking raccoon, and like that's kind of I'm kind of digging it because it fits the status of this character.
I've never been so turned on by the Hamburglar.
He totally is Hamburglar, though.
100%. Okay, so what I thought was really cool is the eye makeup, but also the attention to detail when it came to, like, we were talking about this in the car. I was wondering if Halle Berry like wasn't paid an homage to in Zoe Kravitz's haircut, because there's just something about Catwoman for me that she needs the short hair. And so when I saw it, because I had no idea before that it was Zoe Kravitz, I was like, what? Zoe Kravitz is in this movie? And it was just really cool to see all of these things from not only the comics, but past franchises that I really liked.
Like Batman Returns as Catwoman is incorporated in some ways with this as well, because what the Catwoman in 1992's Batman Returns problem was, is she was basically going after like this head honcho. And like that is entirely what happens in this movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where like also I do have a critique about the movie though, because this is important for me to say while I remember. This movie is paced almost too well.
Yeah.
To the point where there is no moment where you can get up and go to the bathroom. All right?
Yeah.
Watch the funeral scene on YouTube to its complete. If you haven't seen the movie yet, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I don't know why you're watching it. This is all spoiler. But if you are and you're about to walk away, wait 1 second. Watch the trailer for the funeral scene that they posted on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Use the bathroom then. It is your only chance.
Yeah, there's really no good time.
Because even the longer shots where it's like, okay, you don't technically need to be here, you kind of do, because they establish so many things in like minute intervals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if you're not big on the action and you're just there to see Batword, go during the action scenes. But there's only like one good one that you can even do that.
Yeah, the car chase scene, which is one of the best sequences in the whole movie.
One of the best scenes in the film. Yeah, I love that scene.
It is definitely an incredible sequence.
Is it the scene I missed to go to the bathroom?
Yes, but you had no choice.
I had no choice.
There's like when Penguin's looking back at Batman and seeing him jump through the flame in the car, my jaw literally dropped.
When he's like, I got you. I finally got you. And then you just see the car roll through the fucking flames. And you're just like, yeah, that's right. Also, I love the simplicity of the Batmobile. It's almost got like a 66 vibe where it's just basically a muscle car with a big rocket on the back of it. But I kind of like that. I think that works. And
it's moody.
And well, the other thing is like, he has money, but he's not like a super genius. Like he's not going to be able to build a tank or anything. And I think that like lowering it down to something that seems almost attainable for like a rich vigilante was cool. I honestly would have liked it if it was just like a normal car with NOS. Like I would have been fine with that even, because at this point, this is such an earnest fucking take on Batman. I mean, Riddler does not wear a single bit of purple in this entire movie.
Crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
But like, I liked the Riddler outfit. I thought it fit the universe. To be honest, you got up during the movie at one point and Franny goes, I don't know if he's into it. And I'm like, no, he's probably into it.
No, I really liked it. Okay, here's my only critique.
Okay, I want to hear this.
When it first started, you kind of have to get past the cringe. Like,
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I'll tell you exactly the moment that he's talking about. I know exactly the moment he's talking about. When he enters the home after the murder, and he's standing there and he's like, yeah, this kid's, blah, 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 died just like yours. And then something in the way. But you know what, though? When it's cool. When it's reincorporated, you're kind of like, okay, like I get it.
I see why it happened. Yeah.
Like, what's his name? Michael Gier. Oh, I wrote it down just so I could pronounce it correctly. Give me 1 second. Because I think that this score is going to be talked about for a long time.
It was so
Michael
amazing.
Giacchino. Michael Giacchino.
Who did Up?
He did Up. He did Ratatouille.
Yeah.
He did the Star Trek remake with J.J. Abrams.
Didn't our YouTube playlist, like our auto shuffle, like try to spoil the movie for us?
No, it just played a bit of the soundtrack, but it was the scene where it's at the very end and it's like very like longing for Catwoman.
But this is a really good soundtrack.
It is.
I definitely want to listen to it.
And the song at the beginning is slightly incorporated into the score in like a really like not obvious way. Like it's just a couple of like back tones, but it matches. And you're like, wow, like this is really like this whole story. It's not just like a thrilling movie. There is an entire message that it's building to. Mm-hmm. And it does it really subtly. And then all of a sudden everything clicks together for you that it's like, okay, he's missing a big part of this. And oddly enough, all of this kind of brought it to the surface form is that it's not enough to be vengeance and to be angry. You need to like also be like hope for people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then like that was like, you know, the little last bit where he's like, you know, justice, and it's like, oh shit, he went from vengeance to justice, bitch.
Yeah. I think another really cool thing is the incorporation of Ave Maria as the Riddler's background. It's just so cool how he intertwines it, not only just in the Riddler scenes, but it's also just like in the beginning before we even know that it's Riddler who's going to be the villain.
And isn't it because like Ave Maria is commonly played at like funerals?
Yep.
And he's an orphan?
Yep.
Fucking brilliant.
So fucking like magic.
Yeah. And also Paul Dano, however you want to pronounce it. He is fucking amazing as the Riddler. And the thing is he's this guy who always is like an amazing performer, and he's like so great, but he's always in a movie where there's another performance that's better. Like, you know, what is it? Something in Blood, the one with Daniel Day-Lewis. There Will Be Blood. He's incredible in that movie, but he did it with Daniel Day-Lewis. With this, it's like Colin Farrell, I thought for like maybe a minute was going to be like the shining star in this, and he is incredible.
Yeah.
But at the end with Dano and like the final moments where like they're in the interrogation room together, like he went over the top, but in a way where it was like, of course the Riddler is this over the top, and it was very genuine and fucking scary.
If Colin Farrell is not nominated for Best Supporting Actor, I will be so livid because
he won't be.
I did not know that was Colin Farrell until
Yeah.
I was like,
See,
whoa,
this is
Colin
the argument
Farrell.
again, right? So
Colin
Paul
Farrell.
Dano does an amazing job in a movie, and
Yep.
everybody's going to talk about the other performance.
Yeah, I know.
And that's just how it is. That's his life,
sorry.
dude. One day somebody's going to give him something, and he's going to be the person to run with it. Little Miss Sunshine was a while ago, but we'll come back.
He was incredible, especially in the scene where he's at the diner when he gets
Yes.
Yeah, when he gets arrested.
when his head is just like placed on the counter and you're just watching his like entire mind frame just like run through his facial expressions. It was so cool. I loved it.
I love the similarities that they brought in with him and Batman. Like, for instance, they're in the opening scene, you're getting that like Riddler's looking on to people through windows, and then you see Batman doing the same thing with Catwoman and that girl. This pillow's the worst. Just digging into my spleen. It's fine. What was I saying? Oh,
Sorry.
But it keeps being incorporated throughout, where it's like, okay, I think the lesson for Batman is like a very current lesson, and it's all about like the message that you're giving, right?
Yeah.
And how it can be interpreted, and how people need to be more clear cut about things and act in certain ways. And like some people interpreted what the Batman was doing as a good thing, like Gordon, right?
Yeah.
But then other people like Paul Dano interpreted it as a good thing, but for completely the wrong reason.
100.
And I think that giving that to a Batman in this story is something they've never done before, where it's like, let's talk about your responsibility. Let's talk about your privilege, which is what this story is actually about.
Yeah.
So cool.
So they're like, let's talk about the privilege and the situation you're put in and what you're not doing to help the situation.
Yeah.
Like how you're judging.
And it came at it
And-
from different angles. Like
and-
you had the mayor saying it, you had Catwoman saying it.
And there was moments where you were like, no, I don't agree with that. Like, he's so selfless. But then there's a moment where he's talking to Catwoman and she's talking about her friend, and he's like, you should have warned her, and like being really judgy. And it's just like, no, you're not understanding your privilege in the situation. You grew up fucking rich.
Yeah, and like not understanding that like all she does to get by is like work at that shitty ass place. Like she didn't choose that life. Like that's all she knows. Like her mom worked there.
And the same thing goes with the difference between legacy and responsibility. It's like, I understand what you're trying to do, you think is a good thing, but there's a more responsible way that you should be acting. If you're somebody who's taking justice into your own hands, you need to be entirely on that plane of justice, never like selfish in those ideals and willing to save anybody. And there's moments where he teeters with that, and in that way it almost feels like a year one Batman, but it's more just like for the past 2 years he's been the darkness in Gotham to like try to scare the criminals away, but now he's seeing he needs to be the light in Gotham. And
The camera cut.
It did it really?
Sorry guys,
No, I was talking about
it's
it
our
before.
first time.
I thought
on
it was
video.
again. I was about to start
I
fucking
was-
crying.
I was talking to them.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Anyway, what we were saying.
We'll get better
I
at
wonder
this.
what this is gonna look like in post. Like, are you guys even gonna want to see the video at this point? Like, I'm very excited to see how this goes.
Yeah.
I mean, my face is in it, so probably not.
Oof.
But anyway, we were talking about how Batman has to see the light. And there's this really cool scene where Batman's walking through the flood and he has this flare and
it's
and
amazing.
it's all
That's
red monotone.
That's the scene I thought he was killing himself because I thought
It was, I think
I
just
thought
after, yeah.
he had pulled a wire out of like one of the dangly wires because like they were like in a fucking like town hall thing. I don't fucking know, but there was a bunch of like wires and shit around, and I thought he had pulled an open wire and like jumped into the water with it, but no, it was a flare.
It was just really cool because like he hears the guy say, "I'm vengeance," and then directly after that happens where you think he's going to die, he is in complete pitch black and he lights this flare and starts guiding people towards him.
Yeah,
I just thought it was really cool.
And it's really cool because obviously all the imagery that's been out for the Batman is like, it looks like it's rain and it's all red backdrop and black and red everywhere, and like it really wasn't incorporated in early parts of the film. So I'm not saying that I was thinking the whole time like, well, where is that in this movie? Like, is that going to be an element of the cinematography? Or was that just cool poster work? Because there is a great poster out there that I think it was Life magazine made or something. There's been a lot of incredible posters, but the main ones that we've seen are the red with the black.
Yeah.
And so when it finally happened at the end of the movie with this flare, you're like, oh shit. He nailed it. I mean, he nailed the landing. And the thing is like the third act is the weakest part of the movie.
Yeah.
But for me, that still lands. So it just shows how strong the rest of the movie was. Like the first 30 minutes of this movie. Okay. The first 30 minutes after the first 5 minutes.
Yes.
the I'll call it the second 25 minutes is like incredible and like really well done. Like all the motorcycle scenes and everything. I mean, it's just
so cool.
And then I can't remember the name of the actor, but they did show a Joker at the end. And it's the same kid who played the kid from Killing of the Sacred Deer. And I love that actor, and I'm excited to see him like play the Joker if that's what they're gonna do. But a lot of people are speculating on, obviously there's gonna be a sequel. This movie's making a bunch of money. What they should do for the sequel, what villain do you guys think it should be, and what villain would you cast? Like, who would you cast as that villain?
Is it?
You said that Penguin's getting his own
HBO series,
thing.
and there's also going to be an Arkham series, or maybe they're the same thing.
Is it one of these guys?
I
Killing of a Sacred Deer?
would say
This Barry Keoghan guy, how do you pronounce that?
Oh,
That's who's playing the Joker.
can I see?
Yes. He's the second guy next to Colin Farrell.
Oh my gosh, he's the guy in Internals, right?
He might be in Internals. I haven't
Druig?
seen Internals yet.
I think Druig, something like that.
He's a great actor.
Let
I
me
mean,
see.
genuinely.
Can I see that photo of him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Eternals.
Yeah, so he's playing
Wow.
the Joker, or at least he was in this.
Eternals
Yeah.
and Batman star. Yep.
Yep.
That's
So that's kind of, and I feel like he got that role because he was tied with Colin Farrell with that Killing of the Sacred Deer movie. That's a great movie. You guys should watch it, especially if you liked the Batman.
I want to see it.
It's very good. It's by the same dude who directed The Lobster. Not the point.
I think it should be Joker next, especially after that setup.
I disagree.
Okay.
You disagree?
Gary. I think Joker should be more of a, like, he should be like
A finale.
or
Yeah.
like the head of a villain's cabinet, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if they do,
build
like,
him
a-
up a little bit more.
Definitely.
The person I would say is, and I think it's just because we just watched the animated series.
If you're going to say Mr. Freeze, that's who I was going to say.
I think it's Mr. Freeze.
Yes,
Yeah.
I want Mr. Freeze. And you know who I want to play Mr. Freeze? I want Christoph Waltz.
I went Ice Cube.
Ice Cube.
No,
No, I'm with you. It's got to be Cube.
no,
It's the Cube.
Christoph Waltz from Glorious Bastards.
Okay, yeah.
Django Unchained.
That's fair.
The Dentist. He's a James Bond villain. He's an incredible villain, but mainly it's the fact that he can have that candor of like that villainous attitude. And he was in The Green Hornet as the big villain, but that movie was terrible.
I didn't see that
But
movie.
he wasn't bad in it. So I know that he needs that redemptive moment.
Okay.
So I would do a Freeze with Christoph Waltz. But if I was going to do a lady, I would do like Poison Ivy with like Florence Pugh or something.
Oh.
Hot.
I like that.
Yeah.
But what would you guys want?
I mean, I really want the Joker, but I think it would be better if we waited if we waited a little bit longer. Is Two-Face a Batman villain? Or
Yes, yeah. In fact,
I
there
always
was
liked that
an
villain a lot.
homage to Two-Face in the movie. The gang that was attacking him attacking that guy at the beginning, one of them was painted like Two-Face.
Which could be a really cool Easter egg if they go that route for a second
I just
film.
well,
always
they
liked
did
that
kill
villain.
the DA. You know, who knows where things are going to go. This kid could have got his shit together and became a lawyer. Probably not. But if they did a Two-Face, I think that could be interesting.
Yeah.
They
I think
definitely set up a lot.
I think that would fit well in this universe too.
Yeah. 100.
I think I would want to do something different with Two-Face though, because Aaron Eckhart did it so well. I'd be like, let's have Two-Face be a woman.
That'd be cool.
You know,
who would you have play her?
who would I have play? What's her name?
Meryl Streep.
The chick.
Yes, of course.
I just want Meryl Streep and everything.
Do you remember the chick from Hereditary, the mother, the actress?
Hold on. She's just a quick Google away.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. I think it's like Colleen Collette. No, that's not it. That's a fictional character.
Toni Collette.
Toni Collette.
Oh.
She would be incredible. Or, you know, if you don't want to go that route, I mean, obviously a Two-Face storyline would be good. Who would you cast as Two-Face?
I like the idea of it being somebody like around our Pat's like Batman age.
They did that with Joker and with Riddler. So.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
I think they need to keep with that theme. I don't know. Fuck. That's hard.
All right. Well,
Who'd make a good Two-Face?
You said Dr. Freeze, but who would you cast?
As
Mr.
Dr.
Freeze.
Freeze?
As Mr. Freeze.
As
sorry.
Dr. Freeze.
Yeah, Dr. Freeze.
As Dr. Pepper. That's a great question.
I always like Mads Mikkelsen as like any villain.
Oh, but that's such a gimme.
I know, but come
that's
on.
Such a gimme.
He's so good.
The thing I liked about this movie is, first of all, at one point, Jonah Hill was in talks to be the Riddler. That's true facts with this script.
Funny.
Oh, really?
So, yes, that was a very well-known fact that he was in talks. It was a real thing with Matt Reeves' script, okay?
Wow.
So
that would be weird.
But the point is, Reeves cast very oddly. He doesn't go with the traditional ideas. I mean, he cast Edward as his Batman, a very controversial choice at the time. So I would want somebody super fucking weird. I would want like a weird casting, like Two-Face. Maybe you could get what is his name? He played look up what is the movie called? Look up Get Out. Not Daniel Coulier, the other guy. Although Daniel Coulier is obviously amazing.
Yeah.
That Nope trailer was also really
That
good.
would definitely be a cool take on it.
Let me see.
Lakeith Stanfield.
Lakeith Stanfield as a Two-Face would be fucking interesting. Him as like a sexy, thin, like district attorney during the day, and then
him
like,
as a villain would be good. I feel like he'd fit that universe well.
yeah, because he's so gritty. He's gritty as fuck. He's like one of the grittiest actors out right now.
What's funny is the person I was thinking of is who they just cast as Kang in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
He'd be okay.
I think he'd be really good at it, and he'd bring like a weird properness to it, in my opinion. Dreamcast for Mr. Freeze won't happen. Alan Rickman.
Oh, that would be an amazing.
I think that
casting.
would have been amazing, but I mean,
you could just get discount Alan Rickman and get Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah, did you know that he
like
did
that's a little
voice
too
replacements
basic.
for stuff on Alan Rickman was going to be in a thing, and then when he died, Benedict Cumberbatch did voice replacement stuff.
really?
They can do the same voice, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, you can. I think he did his impression on the Tonight Show.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
he's got a good Rickman voice. He does.
Okay.
Not the point.
Wow.
Okay.
So like overall, where do you think this is going to be like the new franchise? We're going to get like 3 films. Do you think it's going to be more?
So I think there's going to be more movies. I think that people are going to be really split though on whether they like it or not. I think that it's going to be kind of like a Joker crowd thing where it pleases most, but there's a small group of people who really don't like it for their own set of reasons, and that's fine. I think that the film's a little polarizing. Like, it's definitely not a kid's movie, and yet they're marketing it on this Little Caesars pizza and in children's toys, and I just think I see Batman like investigating a dead body and pulling up a thumb drive, and I think this isn't exactly a kid's movie.
Agreed.
Or just like all the like hints towards prostitution on like with those girls and everything.
Definitely.
Like it's not made for kids.
That's how I felt about Birds of Prey, which was really weird. At the time I worked at a Hot Topic store, and it was super like Harley Quinn everything, and
Yeah.
it was all super kiddie. And literally, like, there's some really gruesome scenes in Birds of Prey, and it's like,
But this is the next level.
Yeah, this is like
and
noir.
100%.
Like
Yeah,
it's not made for kids.
like this is at its base. This is what it is, even more than a Batman movie. It's a detective film about a man hunting a demented serial killer.
yeah,
It's
That is the
honestly
movie.
not even just like a movie for superhero fans. I'd
No.
say like somebody that doesn't even like Batman content would like this a lot.
Like it's got very Hitchcockian
Yeah.
vibes to it, and the way that it orchestrates how light reflects, like with a rainy window and an odd gaze. It
So
uses perspective shots. The scene where he jumps from the ceiling of the police station in his bubble suit, like fucking Bubble Boy with Jake Gyllenhaal, was incredible.
Yeah.
And
So
that
cool.
and that shot was amazing. And that's like where it really gets, like, I think it's director vibes from.
Yeah.
I still think The Dark Knight is probably technically a better movie, but this is a better Batman movie, and I like this movie more.
This is the best
This
Batman
feels
movie
more.
I've seen.
This feels more my kind of Batman movie,
Yeah.
where it's like Donnie Darko of Batman movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is relentlessly ridiculous in its depiction in some ways. Like the fact that we don't question that he wears a bat suit and he doesn't call himself Batman.
yeah.
But
Well, I guess he doesn't call himself Batman, but like all
he says the Batman as though he's speaking of himself like a mythical creature, not like it's his insignia. Like,
He's like the man
in
of
every
bats.
scene, he calls himself Vengeance. Catwoman
Yeah.
calls him
Yeah.
Vengeance. Everybody calls him Vengeance because that's what he says his name is.
I was just thinking about like the newspaper articles that call him like the Batman.
Yeah, the Batman, as in
and
like
it's
he's a
hyphenated
Batman,
bat/man.
and that's the point. Is like it's not his title;
Yeah.
it's just his description. He's a
Yeah.
Batman,
Yeah.
and that changes by the end of the movie.
Love it.
I think Robert Pattinson was just the perfect casting for this. Honestly,
He is like the indie darling right now, and
Yeah.
I think that him being cast in this, regardless of all the production issues that happened, this is the strongest cast I've seen so far this year.
yeah.
And Robert Pattinson is very largely responsible for that.
Well, he
Because-
also can play like Moody so well.
Yeah.
And well, also we're with him the whole movie.
Yeah.
You do not have a scene without Batman. You don't cut away from Batman.
Agreed.
Like,
Which is nice.
I can't think of a single scene from the movie where Batman's not there.
There's like one moment where Zoe Kravitz is talking.
But
to
you know that
Yeah, you know
she's
he's around
being
the
watched
corner.
and he's about to come around.
Even the
He's
scenes.
omnipresent in
Yeah.
the film, and that's a cool perspective. And because of that, Robert Pattinson had to not be annoying. He had to not be like Michael Keaton's Batman, a good Batman, but there to service the villains.
I saw something that was like, Robert Pattinson can play Batman, but Michael Keaton couldn't play Edward. And I think that's fair.
Okay, anyway, moving on. Michael Keaton's character was there to service the villains, right? Val Kilmer's was there to service the fact that Michael Keaton wasn't there anymore. And George Clooney was there to hurt everybody's feelings. And then Christian Bale was then again there to service the artistry of the overall film. This movie is entirely Batman. It's Batman
Yeah.
as fuck the whole time. And the way its origins, and the way he's so like stringent on no guns because that's the way his family died.
which was cool.
The Snyderverse, people can say what they want about it. My biggest grief with that is that Batman kills people with guns. That's not Batman's thing. I mean, if you read the comics, it's like his biggest rule is people don't die, but especially not by the hands of a gun.
Yeah.
He punched a dude once for shooting a pistol at a race where Superman and the Flash were racing. He's not into guns, guys. He's not in the NRA. I know a lot of you NRA guys might wear Batman shirts, but he's definitely not on your guys' side. Speaking the truth. Now, giant tanks, he's into that. But anyway, this movie, because of that, because it rides so much on Batman, makes me think that Robert Pattinson's my new Batman.
Okay.
And that's pretty controversial to say because I know
Yeah.
people don't want to say that. But I think that for other people who are into it, it's gonna become that. Like this has the earmarks of not being everyone's favorite, but being the cult classic that people later on realize is like this great movie.
I'd say he's my Batman. But I mean, I went in loving the concept and the idea.
I basically don't even want to hear from you. Like, duh.
I'm Team Edward all the way. Always have been.
Team Batword.
Team Batward.
Bat
And
Pats.
it's so funny because like you see a lot of like the character Edward in this Batman. I know you probably hate me for saying that, but like the like moodiness and everything. I don't know. It's just fun. It's fun fan fiction almost for somebody like me.
Holy shit.
Go ahead.
I loved it. I thought it was really well done. I'm just curious to see where they take it. Are they going to stick to the more of like the noir detective kind of storyline, or are they going to shift more into like, as they're expanding the multiverse of DC, are they going to shift more into like a true hero thing where there's like a big villain, or is it going to stay more small scale?
I hope they treat this Batman series like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man series.
Okay.
Where for a long time it is just on its own. Like
I like that.
It took many years for Tobey Maguire to appear in anything else.
Yeah.
And I want that to be this with this Batman. I think this Batman should stand on its own. I think that adding too many fantastic... Like, the idea of Superman existing in this universe does not compute.
Agreed.
I cannot imagine Superman flying through the sky in this universe. It is impossible.
That literally went through my brain when we were watching it.
Even more impossible than The Dark Knight was, and that might shock you, but given the circumstances, there's no way a Superman can exist in this world.
No, definitely not.
And because of that, I don't want there to be a multiverse thing because it'll cheapen the experience of this movie and the ones to follow it. Just give me 2, maybe 3 more good Batman movies that are just this, and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think like making like 3 movies out of this is probably where it's gonna land.
Well, it depends. I mean, if there's a really good 4th one in the works, like if they have, if it becomes almost like a Bond-esque thing where they have a good bundle of movies, I'd be happy with that. Like I think R. Patz is a really compelling Batman, and he's young enough to do a shit ton of movies. And every character's young enough, by the way, because Colin Farrell's not actually that old, and everybody else in that movie isn't that old either. So they could, I mean, like they're older, but they could relatively bring these people into like their 50s with this franchise if they really wanted. And that's an exciting concept for me, but I just hope they don't muddle it.
I just want to say congratulations to R. Patz, because I saw the article where you were counting sips of water and it paid off.
Yeah, you look good, and I know that with all the production issues, director not being able to be on set, people being separated from each other for long periods of time, R. Pat's getting it himself, gaining a bunch of weight during the shutdown and having to re-lose all of his weight. It's insane. It's insane to think about. And it's really crazy that the movie turned out as well as it could, and I think that just goes to show how exact Reeves' image was, how clear his vision was. And I know a lot of people are disappointed that we didn't get that Ben Affleck Batman movie that this originally was, which it was supposed to originally be a Deathstroke Batfleck movie when it was originally produced, and then Ben Affleck fell out in every way and Matt Reeves took over and did everything. So conceptually, this movie came out of the fact that they greenlit a Batman movie and that Batman movie didn't happen, so this one got made.
And thank God it did.
It was a complete gamble, and they know it. They put it out early. They want people to see it. They lifted their review embargo pretty much right away. They want people to know that the movie's good, and it is good. Is it for your kids? No. See it with your adult friends. Don't see it with any kids.
Good date night movie.
It's rated R in most other countries, or like basically. So you know, if you want to see it in England, you have to like fly over to Ireland or like sail over to Ireland to watch it if you're 13 or 15 or whatever it is. Dude. It's an NC-15 or something like that.
Wow. What would you rate it overall?
I would rate it like a... Wow, it's so fucking good. I'd say like a 9.5 out of 10.
So I think the movie by itself is a 9 out of 10, but for me personally, based on my interest and the movies that I tend to like, this is a 10 out of 10. Gonna get it on 4K movie. I mean, I could watch this plenty more times. I saw it twice already in this period of time, so I'm excited to see it again, and it's going to be on HBO in April, so look out for that.
Wow. I think I am the same. I think it's like as a actual piece of artwork, I'd say maybe 9.5. I will probably watch it several more times.
Yeah, I mean, just if you throw everything else away, the simplest elements of the film, when characters with character, I like every interaction that all these actors do with each other. I think everybody comes off really well. Especially Zoe Kravitz and R. Patz. I know that at the end of the movie they kind of separated, but I think that they're going to lose some real chemistry there if they let that go. I think it could be like a real moment for film fans for that couple.
They definitely bring her back.
Yeah, but it's what reason is the story going to give other than to make us happy?
I know.
So
but
it's got to be
think of something. Come on,
it's got to be something real, or it's not going to feel right because the movie's so earnest in everything it does. I mean, every dorky moment in the movie, even the moments that are kind of played to be comedy, come off very genuine and earnest. So to just have her come back and be like, I'm back and my tits are out, like that's not exactly realistic.
But I mean, I wouldn't mind it.
Right.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching the first ever
Yes.
video version. Hopefully.
If it happens.
Yes.
Otherwise, you listen to one of the last audio versions.
But the first ever episode of a cinema podcast.
A cinema
Whoa.
podcast.
Yeah, where can we find you guys on social media?
YouTube.com/a pilot podcast.
Yum, 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 yum,
Hey.
yum.
What about you?
So youtube.com/Logan Tyler, as well as our Let's Play channel that me and CL here do called Team Hyperfang. We don't have the URL yet. You guys need to go subscribe. We're going to put it in the description.
Yes, please.
Right now we're playing a Pokemon Nuzlocke. We're getting mad. We have a pigeon. It's awesome.
Diamond is so long.
It's so fucking long. We're hurting.
I'm on everything at CL Blue Official. I make Critical Role content over on my YouTube channel. I am literally at 300 subs, I think. So thank you so much. And yeah, please subscribe to this channel.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell us what you want us to watch next.
Indeed.
Yeah.
See you later,
guys.
Gators.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later.